All right, let's talk about one of the most famous success manuals ever written, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. Today, we're going to dive into its incredibly powerful ideas, and then we're going to uncover the controversial, kind of shocking story that's hiding just beneath the surface. So this book first came out way back in 1937, and you could honestly say it's the grandfather of the entire self-help movement. It promised millions of people a real, concrete formula for getting rich. And you can totally see its DNA in pretty much every success book and seminar out there today.
And the numbers, they're just staggering. We're talking over 15 million copies sold all over the world. Its influence is still massive, in boardrooms, for startups, and at those personal development weekends people go to. And this quote right here, this is the heart of the whole book. This is the big promise. Hill's whole argument was that your thoughts aren't just little daydreams. They're actual, tangible things. And if you get your mindset right, you can literally think your way to a fortune.
But here's the twist, and it's the big question we're digging into today. The principles in the book have, without a doubt, changed lives. But we're also going to pull back the curtain on the troubling and, frankly, pretty shocking truth about the guy who wrote it.
Okay, so first things first, let's figure out why this book became such a legend. What is this secret formula for success that has had people hooked for, almost 100 years now?
Hill's whole philosophy is broken down into these 13 steps. Now, we don't have time to go through every single one, so we're going to focus on 3 of the absolute biggest ones: desire, faith, and this idea he called the mastermind.
Everything, according to Hill, starts right up here, in your head. He says before you can even think about changing your bank account, you have to completely change the way you think about what you want.
And he makes this really important distinction right away. The first step, desire, isn't just, wanting something. It's not some casual wish. He's talking about creating a white-hot, all-consuming obsession with your goal.
And the cool thing is, he doesn't just leave it at that. He gives you this super practical 6-step formula to make that desire real. You have to be specific about the money, figure out what you'll give for it, set a hard deadline, make a plan, and then, this is key, write it all down and read it to yourself out loud every single day.
Okay, but of course, having this burning desire is kind of useless if deep down you just don't believe it's actually possible, right? And that's where his second big principle, faith, comes into play. This is all about building an absolutely unshakable belief in yourself.
So how in the world do you build that kind of faith, especially if you're starting with nothing? Well, Hill's answer is a technique he calls auto-suggestion. Really what this is feeding your subconscious mind positive commands over and over and over again until it just accepts them as reality. You're basically programming your own brain for success.
So once you've got your own mind sorted out, the next huge step for Hill is to stop just thinking by yourself and start using the brain power of other people.
He called this concept the mastermind. The idea here is that when you get 2 or more people together, all focused on the exact same goal, they create this kind of new energy, a third mind, that is way, way more powerful than any one person in the group.
And the benefits are supposed to be huge. Hill actually claimed you could get more done in 1 year with a mastermind than you could in a whole lifetime by yourself. You're basically borrowing the experience, the knowledge, and the emotional support of an entire group to get to your goal faster.
So you've got desire, faith, and the mastermind. It's a pretty powerful mix, right? It sounds like a fantastic formula for success, but this is exactly where the story takes a really sharp, unexpected turn. And this is the million-dollar question. The entire book, its whole credibility, is built on the story Hill told about how he discovered these principles. And, well, that story is now under some serious scrutiny. And here it is. This is the bombshell. The founding myth of Think and Grow Rich is that the industrial titan Andrew Carnegie personally tasked Hill with this 20-year project to interview the world's richest men. The problem? Historians and Carnegie's own biographers have searched through all of his papers, and there is zero proof, absolutely none, that the two ever even met. And maybe the worst part? Hill only started telling this story after Andrew Carnegie was dead.
And the Carnegie story isn't the only problem. It gets worse. Hill claimed he was an advisor to presidents, but again, no records. He preached about getting rich, but spent a lot of his own life running from arrest warrants for fraud. He started multiple businesses that were basically just scams. And his personal life was a mess, with accusations of abuse. The man who wrote the blueprint for success was, by many historical accounts, a total con artist.
So this leaves us with this really fascinating puzzle. You've got this deeply, deeply flawed messenger whose own origin story seems to be completely made up. And yet, the message itself just keeps inspiring millions of people.
So what is going on here? I mean, really, how can a book that's built on such a shaky, even fraudulent foundation not only survive, but continue to be a massive bestseller year after year?
Well, the answer might just be that the ideas themselves are powerful, completely separate from the man who wrote them down. I mean, think about it. Setting clear goals, having faith in yourself, surrounding yourself with smart people, these are solid, timeless ideas. They're practical, and for a lot of people, they just plain work. And the story he told, true or not, is incredibly inspiring. It taps into that universal hope that there's a secret recipe for a better life.
And that kind of leaves us with one last big question to think about. Does it really matter that the story was a lie if the principles in the book have actually helped people? What's more important in the end, where an idea comes from or the impact that it has on the world? It's a tough one.